Day in the life of a pyramid builder. 1. Dawn in the workers' village. You awaken to the sound of voices, low, familiar, weaving through the narrow lanes outside your door. The first light of the sun has not yet touched the horizon, but already the village stirs. A rooster crows once, then again, his cry is sharp against the fading quiet of night. The smell of smoke drifts in from a nearby hearth, sweet and earthy, carrying the promise of bread baking on clay. The ceiling above you is simple, beams of palm trunks laid across with mud plastered over. Cracks trace across its surface, tiny rivers of shadow, and in the half-light they remind you of the Nile spreading its branches through the delta. You blink the dust from your eyes, feeling the rough mat beneath your shoulder blades. Beside you, your wife shifts, already rising, her hair falling loose over her shoulders. She smiles faintly as she ties her linen wrap tighter, moving toward the hearth to check the bread left to warm overnight. A child stirs on a smaller mat in the corner. Your youngest, still tangled in a linen sheet, breathes slow and even. Your eldest daughter sits upright already, her thin arms wrapped around her knees. She blinks at you sleepily, then grins, showing the gap where a tooth fell loose last week. You sleep deeply, your wife murmurs, as she kneels by the fire pit, stirring embers until they glow. You smile, pushing yourself upright, your body heavy from yesterday's labor. The muscles in your back ache. Your arms carry the memory of ropes and stone. But the ache is familiar. A companion now. Your wife laughs quietly, shaking her head. She presses an onion into your hand. Its skin papery, its scent sharp. Eat before you leave. Bread will be ready soon. The onion crunches between your teeth, its flavor strong enough to sting, waking you more effectively than any prayer. You chew slowly, savoring it with the stale beer left in the clay cup from last night. The liquid is sour, frothy, filling your stomach with warmth. Outside, voices grow louder. Men call greetings to one another. Sandals scuffing against hard-packed earth. A donkey brays suddenly, its cry startling in the narrow street. Your daughter giggles, clapping her hands over her ears, and your wife shakes her head again. That beast will wake the dead. You stand, fastening your belt of woven cord. The linen kilt you wear is worn, but clean, patched at the edge where rope frayed it last season. You pull on your sandals, their leather straps stiff with dust, then splash water from a jar over your face and arms. The coolness bites for a moment, refreshing, leaving droplets trailing down your chest. When you step outside, the village greets you with its hum. Mud brick houses cluster close together, their walls painted with faded whitewash. Smoke rises from hearths, blending with the scent of baking bread. Neighbors call your name, raising hands and greeting as they too emerge into the morning. Women crouch by grinding stones, turning them steadily, their children carrying baskets of flour and onions. Dogs dart through the lanes, their tails wagging, their barks quick and sharp. A friend approaches, his hair tied back, a loaf of bread in his hand. He grins, his teeth darkened with last night's beer. Mid-level men like you should rise later, he teases. Leave the heavy lifting to us. You laugh, clapping his shoulder. If I sleep later, the ropes will fray and the stones will crush you. Then who will drink the beer at night? He groans dramatically, rolling his eyes, and the two of you laugh together, the sound echoing down the lane. Groups of men gather, forming crews, their linen kilts tied tight, their eyes still heavy with sleep. Overseers with reed pens tally names on shards of ostraca, scratching them down quickly. You join your group, nodding to those beside you. Familiar faces, sweat-shined, scarred hands, linens etched deep from sun and labor. Each man carries the same pride, to build for Pharaoh, to build for eternity. The overseer raises his voice, sharp and commanding. To the site! The chant begins softly, the rhythm of men stepping together down the road that winds towards Giza. The sky brightens above you, the first rays of sun spilling across the desert. In the distance, the pyramid rises from the earth, massive, even half-finished. Its tiers glowing pale gold. Dust hangs in the air already, waiting for the day's labor to stir it higher. You walk with your crew, the sound of sandals and laughter mixing with the morning breeze. The day stretches before you, heavy with stone and sweat, but the pyramid gleams ahead, calling you forward. You know, each step, each rope pulled, each stone set, it carries your name into eternity. Chapter 2, The Walk to the Site. You leave the village with your crew, the narrow lane opening into a broader path worn smooth by thousands of sandals. The morning air is cool still, but the sun has already begun its climb. Its light spreads across the desert, painting the sand a pale gold, warming the backs of your shoulders as you walk. Dust clings to the leather straps of your sandals, rising with every step. The sound of feet, dozens of them moving together, makes a steady rhythm, a drumbeat guiding the day forward. Around you, voices rise and fall, greetings, laughter, small complaints carried lightly in the cool air. A neighbor jostles you with his elbow, grinning. I heard your wife baked 2 loaves yesterday. Hid one from us, did you? You laugh, shaking your head. If I shared every loaf, my children would starve. Another man joins in, his voice teasing. Then bring your children to the site. They can haul ropes while we eat the bread. The group bursts into laughter, the sound carrying across the sands. Even in jest, the camaraderie eases the heaviness of the road ahead. An overseer strides past, his reed pen tucked into his belt, a shard of ostraca clutched in one hand. He calls names sharply, ticking them off with practiced precision. His voice cuts through the chatter, but not unkindly. Order is as much a part of the pyramid as stone itself. The path crests a small rise, and there it is, the pyramid. Even half built, it dominates the horizon. Its base wider than a village, its sides climbing tier upon tier toward the sky. The ramps coil upward, thick with men hauling sledges, ropes straining, shouts echoing. Dust rises in golden clouds, veiling the stone, shimmering in the sunlight. From this distance, the men look like ants crawling across a mountain, yet their chants carry, steady and powerful, binding them together. You pause for a moment, breath catching, as you always do. No matter how many times you walk this path, the sight startles you. A mountain of human will rising from the desert, block by block, rope by rope. And you, your hands, your sweat, your voice in the chant, you are part of it. Do you think the pharaoh will ever climb it himself? One of the younger men asks, his eyes wide. You smile faintly, shifting the strap of your tool bag on your shoulder. Perhaps, but not as we climb it. His spirit will rise higher than any man's feet could carry him. The boy nods, thoughtful, his awe quieting him. The group moves on. The sound of stonecutters grows louder as you near the site. Chisels striking rhythmically, metal against limestone. Each blow sharp and ringing. The smell of sweat, dust, and clay thickens the air. Sledges groan as ropes stretch. Overseers shout. Water carriers splash sand to ease the drag of stone. The ground trembles faintly under the weight of blocks being set into place. One of your companions shields his eyes, looking upward. Every day it grows, he murmurs, and still it feels endless. You rest your hand briefly on his shoulder. That is what makes it eternal. The overseer calls again, louder now, directing crews to the ramps. Men break off into groups, their chatter dimming, replaced by focus. The rhythm of labor awaits, and with it the long hours of sweat and strain. You tighten your belt at your waist, flex your hands, and step forward. The walk is done. The day's true work begins. Chapter 3, Morning Labor. The sun climbs higher. its heat pressing against your shoulders as you take your place at the ropes. The block before you is immense, its pale face glinting under the light. Dust already gathering in the grooves where it was hewn. The wooden sledge creaks as men tighten ropes around it. Knots pulled fast, fibers straining. Water carriers move quickly, splashing the sand beneath with jars of Nile water, darkening the ground, making it slick enough for dragging. You grip the rope, the coarse fibers biting into your palms. Around you, the crew does the same. Dozens of hands clutching, arms flexing, bodies braced. The overseer lifts his staff, his voice sharp but steady. Heave! The chant begins, a low, deep sound, half song, half command. Heave! Heave! You lean your weight into the rope, muscles strain, sweat beads instantly at your brow. The block shudders, resists, then shifts with a groan that vibrates through the earth. Dust billows, filling your nose and throat, dry and choking, but you keep pulling. Heave! Heave! The chant steadies your breath, binds you to the men beside you. Shoulders bump, feet slip, but the rhythm carries all forward. Each voice is a thread. Together, they weave into something unbreakable. The block slides inch by inch up the ramp, ropes taut as bowstrings. A young man beside you stumbles, the rope jerking in his grip. You catch it with your shoulder, gritting your teeth as the weight doubles for a heartbeat. Hold steady, you bark, your voice hoarse. He regains his footing, nods, and the chant resumes. Heave! Heave! Above, masons wait to guide the stone into place. They crouch with chisels and plumb lines, their eyes sharp despite the glare of the sun. The higher tiers loom above you, each layer of stone already set like steps of a giant stairway. The pyramid rises tier by tier, each block added by hands like yours, each line shrewd by eyes as tired as yours. The block reaches the halfway point of the ramp. The ropes groan, fibers straining. One begins to fray, threads snapping with sharp little pops. The sound startles you, a jolt of fear punching through the rhythm. Hold! Shouts the overseer. Men freeze, bracing the block with their bodies, pressing their feet into the sand. For a moment, the weight threatens to drag all backward. But quickly, spare ropes are thrown, knots tied, the strain redistributed. The block steadies, the danger passes. Laughter breaks out, nervous but real. Someone mutters a joke about offering beer to the gods of rope, and the crew erupts into rough chuckles. The chant begins again, louder now, defiant. Heave! Heave! You pull until your back aches, until sweat blinds your eyes, until your breath burns in your chest. And still the block moves, relentless inch by inch, pulled upward by voices and muscle. When at last it reaches the top of the ramp, the masons rush forward, guiding it into its bed of clay and rubble. They call for silence. The plumb line is lowered, swaying in the breeze, settling slowly. The line falls straight, true. A shout rises, triumphant. Men slap each other's backs, voices lifted in relief. You lean against the rope, chest heaving, sweat dripping from your chin into the sand. For a moment, exhaustion is heavier than stone itself. And then, pride. Quiet, steady, filling your chest like breath. One block set, one piece of eternity placed. You wipe the dust from your face with the back of your hand, squinting upward. The pyramid towers above, tier upon tier, stretching toward the sky. You know your body will ache tonight, your hands will blister, your muscles will burn again tomorrow, but the stone is there, unmoving, eternal. Chapter 4, Midday Rest. The overseer's shout cuts through the dry air. Enough! Rest now! Relief passes through the crew like a wave. The ropes are slackened, blocks steady with wedges of stone, and the great chants dissolve into laughter and groans. Men wipe dust from their eyes, spit grit from their mouths, and stumble toward the shade of linen canopies stretched between wooden poles. The sun blazes overhead, fierce and merciless. But here beneath the makeshift tents, the air softens. The breeze off the desert brushes your damp skin, cooling the sweat that still clings. You sink onto a reed mat, your legs trembling with the memory of the rope. Around you, men drop heavily to the ground, stretching their backs, rubbing their arms, some collapsing flat and closing their eyes instantly. The earth is hard, but after the strain of the morning, even dust feels like a cushion. Servants arrive with baskets and jars, weaving carefully through sprawled limbs. The smell of food follows them. Warm bread, sharp onions, salty dried fish, dates sticky with sweetness. A boy carries a heavy jar of beer, its clay sides cool and damp, froth already bubbling from the rim. He sets it down with a thud, then runs back toward the village for more. The overseer lowers himself nearby, scratching tallies onto a shard of limestone with his reed pen. 3 blocks this morning, he mutters, more to himself than anyone. Not enough. Pharaoh's gaze is higher than that. Someone groans from the ground. Pharaoh's gaze doesn't haul ropes. Laughter erupts, coarse and tired, filling the tent. Even the overseer smiles despite himself, shaking his head. You tear into a hunk of bread, its crust hard, its inside dense and filling. You dip it into a bowl of lentils thickened with garlic, the flavor earthy and sharp. The onion burns your mouth. You eat slowly, savoring every bite as though it is feast enough. Beside you, a younger worker gulps his beer too quickly, foam spilling down his chin. He coughs, choking, eyes watering. The others roar with laughter, slapping his back until the froth splatters onto the sand. He wipes his face with his forearm, grinning sheepishly. The beer fights harder than the rope, he admits, and laughter rises again, light and freeing. Another man leans back, plucking a date from a bowl. He tosses it into the air. The date sticks to his beard before falling to the ground. Groans and cheers erupt as he picks it up, dusts it, and pops it back into his mouth without hesitation. Better with sand, he insists, and the group howls with mirth. Your own shoulders loosen, the ache remains, but laughter is its own balm. Children dart suddenly through the canopy, carrying small water jars. One boy stumbles, his jar slipping from his arms, clay shattering against the ground. Water splashes across mats and feet. Startling cries from men who scramble away. For a moment, chaos erupts. Groans, laughter, curses. The boy stands frozen, his eyes wide with fear. You rise, placing a hand on his shoulder. Go, you tell him gently. Bring another. The gods have their drink now. The boy nods, relief flooding his face as he bolts away. The others laugh, shaking their heads, wiping water from their feet. Conversation drifts in waves. Some men speak of their wives' gardens, of children growing tall, of neighbors' donkeys that bite too often. Others argue good-naturedly about which crew will set the most blocks this week. A man nearby sings softly, a work chant turned into a lullaby, his voice low and rough, but soothing. A few close their eyes, letting the rhythm carry them toward brief sleep. You sip from your cup, the beer sour, thick with grain, bubbles tickling your tongue. It fills your stomach with warmth, easing the hunger the bread cannot. Your body softens into the mat. For a moment, the tense voices blur into a steady hum. Like bees droning over reeds, the ache in your arms dulls. Your breath slows. Then, a sudden shout from outside. A rope snaps against stone with a sharp crack, startling the men awake. Everyone sits up, tense, before realizing the block has already been steadied, the danger past. A wave of chuckles ripples through the group, tension dissolving. The stones want to eat us, even at rest, someone mutters, earning another round of laughter. You exhale slowly, lying back again, your head resting on folded arms. The tent fabric flutters in the breeze above, the sun a faint glow through its weave. The taste of onion lingers on your tongue, mixed with the sweetness of dates. The sounds of chewing, murmuring, laughing, and the far-off thud of chisels create a rhythm all their own. The heartbeat of a village and the sight together. For a brief moment, you close your eyes. The pyramid waits, the ropes will call, but for now, the bread, the beer, the laughter, and the shade are enough. Chapter 5. Afternoon Work. The call comes sharp, cutting through the hum of conversation beneath the shade. Back to the ropes. Men groan, stretch, and push themselves upright. Bread crusts are brushed from laps, beer jars drained with final gulps. The tent empties slowly, bodies reluctant but determined. The sun greets you as you step out. Brighter, hotter, its light bouncing from pale limestone until it burns your eyes. The brief cool of shade clings to your skin for only a moment before the heat claims you again. The ramp looms ahead, steep and wide, scarred by the grooves of sledges. Dust rises with every step, coating your sandals, sticking to the sweat on your legs. The air tastes dry, grit scratching your throat. Somewhere a chisel strikes stone in a steady rhythm, tink, 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 blending with the creak of ropes and the guttural chants of other crews. You take your place at the rope. The block is larger this time, its edges newly cut, sharp enough to scrape skin if touched carelessly. The rope is tough, already frayed from the morning strain. You flex your fingers around it, feeling the bite of fibers against your palms. The overseer raises his staff, his voice ringing out, "Together!" The chant begins. Heave! Heave! Your body leans forward, the rope pulling tight. The block resists, stubborn as the desert itself, but slowly it shifts. Wood sledges groan. Sand darkened with water hisses beneath its weight. The chant steadies your breath, binds your rhythm to the men beside you. Heave! Heave! Your arms tremble, shoulders burn, but the sound of voices carries you. Sweat stings your eyes, dust clogs your nose. You taste salt and grit, a mixture of exhaustion and will. The block creeps upward, inch by inch, as if reluctant to join its brothers above. Halfway up the ramp, the rope jerks suddenly. A man stumbles, his grip slipping. The block shifts, lurching sideways. Shouts erupt, panic crackling like fire. You dig your heels into the sand, muscles screaming, and bark out, "Hold! Steady!" The crew braces. The block groans against the sledge, threatening to slide back. For a heartbeat, all hangs in peril. Then, with a roar of effort, the men tighten the ropes again, dragging it back into line. The danger passes. Relief floods the group, laughter bubbling up shaky, but real. Someone spits into the sand, muttering, "The stone's hunger." You grin despite the ache in your arms. Laughter ripples through the crew, easing the tension. The chant resumes, louder now, more defiant. Heave! Heave! At the top of the ramp, masons wait with plumb lines dangling from their hands. Their eyes are sharp, movements precise. As the block reaches them, they call out, guiding its placement. Water is poured again. The sledge slides. The block nestles into its bed of clay and rubble. The plumb line steadies, straight, true. The overseer nods once, satisfied. His shout rises, not a cheer, but a deep collective exhale of triumph. One more stone placed, one more step in Pharaoh's eternal ladder. The work does not end. Another block waits, already bound with rope. Another crew struggles up another ramp, their chants echoing yours in a rhythm that fills the air. A symphony of labor and dust. You wipe the brow with the back of your arm, grit grinding against sweat. The sun presses harder now, its weight as real as stone. But the pyramid grows before your eyes, tier by tier, each line truer than the last. Beside you, a man groans, clutching his hand. Blood seeps from the shallow cut where the rope burned his skin. You take his arm, wrapping it quickly with a strip of linen torn from your kilt's hem. The healer will see it tonight, you say firmly. Today, you still have one good hand. He grins through the pain, lifting his uninjured hand to the rope. Enough for Pharaoh, then. The chant begins again. Heave! Heave! And so the afternoon passes. Sweat, dust, laughter, strain, near accidents, true triumphs. Each block a battle, each stone a promise. By the time the overseer raises his staff for the last time, the sun has begun to tilt westward. Its light redder, softer, painting the stone in fire. The pyramid gleams in the glow, its tears blazing as though touched by the hand of Ra himself. Your body aches in every limb, your hands burn raw, your throat is parched. But you look up at the growing monument, and pride steadies you. The blocks stand where once there was only sand. And you, your sweat, your voice, your hands, are etched into them as surely as any mark of chisel. Tomorrow the work will begin again, but tonight the stone will rest with you, true and steady beneath the sky. Chapter 6. Return to the village. The call comes at last. The overseer's staff strikes the stone, his voice carrying across the ramp. Enough! The words spread like fire through the crews. Ropes are slackened, wedges hammered beneath sledges to steady them for tomorrow. The chants die out, leaving only the ringing echoes of chisels, now few and fading. For a moment, silence hovers, strange after the constant rhythm of labor. Then comes the laughter, the groans, the shuffling of weary feet. Men wipe their brows with dusty arms, spitting grit from their mouths, their bodies sagging under the weight of fatigue and pride. You drop the rope from your hands. Your palms burn, lines of raw red etched deep where the fibers bit into you. Dust clings to your skin, streaked by sweat that has dried into salt. Your back aches, your shoulders throb, and yet you breathe deep. And the air tastes of victory. The block you hauled this morning rests now among its brothers, solid, unmoving, truer than memory. You turn your eyes upward. The pyramid towers above, its tiers painted red by the sinking sun. For a moment it looks aflame, each stone glowing as though struck by the hand of Ra. The sight steals your breath as it always does. No matter the ache, no matter the dust in your lungs, this mountain of stone rises because of you, because of all of you. The crews begin to disperse, moving slowly down the ramps. You fall into step with their familiar faces, their laughter weary but real. A man stumbles, nearly tripping over his own sandal strap, and curses loudly. The others roar with laughter, teasing him until he grins sheepishly. The stones are steady, but I am not, he admits, and the crew's mirth carries the weariness away. The road back to the village stretches wide and dusty, worn smooth by thousands of feet. The desert air cools now, the sun dipping lower, the breeze carrying a faint sweetness from the Nile far in the distance. Shadows lengthen, stretching long across the stand. The chatter rises and falls, stories of the day, jokes at the overseer's expense, boasts of who pulled the heaviest, who slipped the most, and who sang the loudest. Someone begins a song, voice rough but strong. It is not the chant of labor, but a softer tune, one carried from the fields. Others join in, their voices weaving together until the road itself seems to hum. You join too, your voice cracked from dust but steady, the melody binding you all. The village comes into view at last, its clusters of mud brick houses gleaming in the sunset. Smoke rises from cooking fires, the air rich with the scent of onions stewing, lentils boiling, baking bread on clay hearths. The sounds shift. Children laughing as they chase each other through the lanes, dogs barking, women calling out greetings to their returning husbands. You step into the narrow street, greeted instantly. Neighbors wave, their faces lit by firelight. One woman holds a jar of beer aloft, offering it to the men as they pass. Laughter erupts as two workers race to reach their first. Children dart between legs, clutching toy boats carved from scraps of wood, their eyes wide with pride as they show them off. At your own doorway, your wife waits. She steps forward, her eyes searching your face. For a moment, words are not needed. She takes your hands, rough and raw, and turns them over, studying the rope burns. Her lips press into a line, half worry, half pride. The ropes fought you, she murmurs. The ropes fight us all, you answer softly, leaning down to kiss her cheek. The dust on your face leaves a mark on her skin. She laughs quietly, wiping it away with her palm. Your children swarm around you, tugging at your kilt, shouting all at once. Your son holds up a reed toy soldier, demanding praise. Your daughter thrusts a small basket of figs into your hand, her eyes shining. I saved the best ones, she says proudly. You crouch, gathering them close, the ache in your back forgotten for this moment. Their arms wrap around your neck, their warmth grounding you more deeply than any stone could. Inside, the hearth glows with fire. Clay pots bubble with lentils thickened by garlic. Onions simmer in oil, bread bakes on hot stones. The smell fills the house, rich and comforting. You sink onto a low stool, stretching your legs, while your wife sets food before you. A jug of beer follows, froth spilling slightly over its rim. You tear into the bread, its crust still hot, its center soft. The lentils coat your tongue, earthy and filling, the onion sharp but welcome. The beer washes it down, sour and frothy, the taste of labor rewarded. Your children chatter, their voices bright, their stories tumbling one over another. Who climbed the tallest fig tree, who chased the fattest goose, who sang loudest in the street. You laugh, shaking your head, your heart full even as your body aches. After supper, neighbors gather outside, fires flickering in the street. Men sit in circles, jars of beer passing from hand to hand. Someone produces a lute, plucking a slow, lifting tune. Voices rise in song, rough but warm, weaving into the night. Children chase each other in the glow of the flames, their shadows dancing along the walls. You lean back against the wall of your house, the cool mud bricks steady at your back, and watch. The day's labor already feels distant, replaced by this, the laughter, the music, the warmth of food and family. The pyramid may belong to the pharaoh, but this village, this life, belongs to you. As the stars emerge overhead, you feel the ache return in waves, but it is good ache, the kind that speaks of purpose fulfilled. Tomorrow, the ropes will bite again, the stones will resist, the overseer will shout. But tonight, the dust is washed away by laughter, and the weight of stone replaced by the weight of your daughter's head resting against your arm as she falls asleep in your lap. The night gathers close, cool and calm, wrapping the village in its embrace. The fires burn low, the songs fade, and the hum of insects fills the silence. You breathe deeply, the smell of smoke and bread still lingering, and let your eyes close for a moment. The pyramid rises in the distance, dark against the stars, but here in your village, eternity is measured in bread, in laughter, in the small hands of your children tangled in your own. You close your eyes, the ache of labor slipping away like sand between fingers. The gods hold watch, the pyramid stands, the night enfolds you, and within it, you are more than laborer. You are builder. You are eternal.